What's up, Taiwan? I'm Stash Butler with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Policymakers are discussing amendments to Taiwan's Wildlife Conservation Act. They're setting their sights on the country's laws on trapping. Leslie Liao explains.
A Formosan black bear, a rare and protected species often seen as a symbol of Taiwan, is caught in a trap. The bear's wounds are serious enough that authorities deem it necessary to amputate part of its paw. Unfortunately, this is a fairly common occurrence in Taiwan's rural and mountainous regions. So much so that lawmakers are now questioning how humane trapping practices are in Taiwan.
当这样的画面，不论在国内的媒体或者国际的社会大众看到之后，我相信对台湾的国际动物保育的这样的形象是一个很大的伤害。
The legislature is reviewing the Wildlife Conservation Act, and there are calls to ban both foothold and metal snare traps. Agriculture Minister Chen Jizong agrees that foothold traps can go, but he says getting rid of snares is a little more complicated. Chen says snare traps are important to farmers, and they're also important for preserving the hunting culture of Taiwan's indigenous groups. However, it's never good when a protected animal gets caught in one, especially when it leads to permanent injury or worse. It's now up to Taiwan's policymakers and public to reach a decision that's best not only for humans, but also for the animals. Leon Lin and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus.
Ecologists say loggers in southern Taiwan have felled endangered trees. The loggers clear-cut part of one of the world's highest beech forests in Taitung County on a site that they'd leased from the government. And the Taiwan Ecological Society says they cut down 3 species of endangered tree. In all, the loggers removed 13 hectares of forest. One local councillor is urging for them to be fined. Environmental groups say this type of destruction could harm Taiwan's biodiversity. Huge flocks of migratory seabirds have got stuck in southeastern Taiwan. Common terns spend the winter in Taiwan and head north for the summer around this time of year. But stormy weather has forced thousands of the birds to delay their departure. Bird watchers have themselves flocked to catch a last glimpse of the birds before they leave. A new study in Taiwan finds that men just don't know enough about what it takes to have a baby. 1 in 7 couples in Taiwan experience infertility, and knowledge is the first step to overcoming that problem. Eric Tsai has more.
It generally takes 2 people to make a baby, but a new study in Taiwan has found that men are behind women when it comes to understanding problems with fertility. The World Health Organization classifies infertility as a reproductive disease. It's defined as an inability to conceive after 12 months of unprotected sex. The report by the Taiwanese Society for Reproductive Medicine says the average age for a couple's first checkup for infertility is 36 years old. But reproductive capabilities in both men and women dramatically decrease after the age of 30. One expert discusses what can happen after men reach 40.
它发生染色体异常的比例就会开始增加，不但它的怀孕率会降低，那就算顺利受孕之后，它发生胎儿流产的风险会开始增加。
And just as men contribute half their offspring's makeup, other studies have shown that men are the primary or the contributing factor to about half of global infertility. What can you do if you're past 30 and want a baby? In vitro fertilization, or IVF, may be the solution. Taiwan currently offers subsidies for married couples. In 2021, it passed a law that any infertile couples under the age of 45 may apply for subsidies up to about $3,200 and nearly $2,000 for subsequent applications.
大概已经诞生了10800多个宝宝，哈，那这个是我们大概透过扩大人工生殖补助的一个成果。
All this comes while Taiwan has one of the lowest birth rates in the world and a shrinking population, which threatens to lead to labor shortages and other social problems. But the government hopes that with a little bit of education, a more fruitful future is not beyond conception. Devin Tai and Eric Tai for TaiwanPlus.
Now, all this week on TaiwanPlus News, we've been bringing you on a journey to Taiwan's outlying islands of Matsu. Today, in part 3 of our series, Where's Matsu's County Chief Taking Us? Andrew Ryan goes island hopping to a place that looks surprisingly like Greece.
Stone houses line the slopes, looking out over a curved bay and a small beach below. They feature high, narrow windows cut into the granite like eyes looking out at the sea. You'd be forgiven for thinking we'd left Taiwan.
有人称它为亚洲的地中海，在那边很悠闲的喝杯咖啡，看看对岸的我们的龟岛，再看看对岸的环旗，就在遥遥之间，就近在咫尺。
This is Qinbi, a little fishing village about 15 kilometers off the coast of China. People have been living here since the 13th century. But when the fishing industry fell into decline in the 1970s, most of the residents moved to the main island of Taiwan in search of work. After they opened the islands to tourism in the mid-90s, Qinbi experienced a renaissance. Today, it's one of the hottest destinations in Matsu. Most of the homes are now guest houses. One of the owners decided to move here the first time she laid eyes on the village.
很安静，然后就是没有台北的嘈杂。早上有早上的宁静美，黄昏有黄昏的夕阳美，晚上有深层的夜景美，所以每个时段有每个时段的美。
So how do you transform a ghost town with just 2 families into one of the most popular destinations in Matsu? The county chief says it's a delicate balance.
秦壁啊，是我们花费好多的心力把它保存起来。我们为了保护这片美景，我们特别定的办法叫做聚落保存区，在里面生活的，在里面的建筑都需要受到聚落保存相关的规定的限制。
Strict regulations have helped preserve the village of Qinbi like a time capsule. Everywhere you turn, there are signs from Matsu's Cold War past, like this one, Take Back the Mainland, and Long Live Chiang Kai-shek. Just up the road, an even starker reminder of the tensions of 40 years ago. This is one of 5 stations that Taiwan set up to broadcast propaganda directly to people across these waters in China. Now, when it was set up in 1979, it was the biggest of its kind in the region. There are 48 holes that used to contain speakers, but today, this is no longer in use. It's an interesting time to visit Matsu, with cross-strait tensions threatening to boil over again. But the county chief is unfazed.
会紧张是你们外国人，我们一点都不紧张。为什么不紧张？我们从小在这边长大。 在战地政务时期，我们每天晚上都要躲防空洞，那个日子我们经过了。
He says that people are mentally prepared, and it helps that both sides have better weapons than they did in the past.
现在一个飞弹就飞越过马祖了，他不可能在战略上先打马祖再打台湾，所以说马祖相对的是安全。
In many ways, the people of Matsu are like the buildings of Qinbi. They've seen a lot, and they'll remain steadfast for centuries to come, no matter which way the political winds blow. Alex Chen, Devin Tsai, Peachy Drong, and Andrew Ryan for TaiwanPlus. Coming up in part 4 of our trip, we take a bite out of Matsu, sampling creative concoctions like coffee and chocolate flavored with locally made liquor.
And the number of people in Taiwan who support same-sex marriage has grown by over 25% in less than 5 years. That's a big uptick since the country legalized same-sex unions 4 years ago. According to an annual government survey, more than 60% of Taiwan's public now support same-sex marriage. That's compared to less than 40% surveyed in 2018. May 24th marks 4 years since Taiwan became the first country in Asia to officially recognize same-sex marriage. Since then, over 10,000 same-sex couples have registered their marriages. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, today we leave you with images of a new kind of seasonal employee sheep providing eco-friendly lawn maintenance in New York City. I'm Stash Butler. Take care and see you next time.